Florida, all of Florida, is the number one place for phone scams and that kind of thing. So that's why I don't work with 15 people at once. That's why I work with 2 at the most, because you're going to close in 30 days and then I'm going to go on to someone else. I'll always be available for you or your friend or your neighbor. But while we're working together, my focus is going to be on you.
Welcome to the Dream Home Podcast, the show where real estate meets real talk. Hosted by John Nagle, a seasoned expert with over $7 billion in real estate financing experience. This podcast features top realtors, builders, and financial pros. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, we've got the tools to help you make smarter moves. Here's your host, John Nagle.
Welcome back to another episode of the Dream Home Podcast, where we bring you the inspiring stories, expert advice, and insider tips to help you turn your dream of homeownership into reality. I'm your host, John Nagle with CMG Home Loans. Today, we're thrilled to have Vicki F. Moore, a top producing real estate consultant with Magnolia Real Estate in Marion County, Florida. With nearly 7 years of local experience, Vicki specializes in 55 plus communities, new home construction, first-time home buyers, veterans, and seniors. What really sets Vicki apart is her one-on-one personal service, no call centers, no runarounds, just Vicki answering her calls herself and walking you through every step of the journey. We're going to dive in what makes her work so impactful, explore market trends, and hear some amazing stories from the front lines of Florida real estate. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss this one. Vicki, welcome, and thanks so much for joining us today on the podcast.
Thank you, John. It's nice to see you again as well.
That's great. So Vicki, let's kick it off with this. What would you say is your superpower as a realtor? What makes you stand out from the competition?
That I listen and I listen to what your needs are and what your wants are. And because Blue Magnolia, because of how we work, we don't have these crazy goals that you have to sell 4 a month and list 4. I'm going to work with you. I work with one client at a time all the way through. Sometimes 2, but not 4 or 5 or 10. I don't have 15 people on a team. And that's great for some people, but some people like that I'm focused just on them.
Yep, that makes total sense. I can see where you are able then to provide that one-on-one service because you're not trying to handle 15 or 20 customers at the same time. And
Right.
What's the number one thing people ask you for your help with?
Most of the time, I don't know if they ask for it necessarily, but we work it in. If you're looking for a home, no matter where you're at in the United States, the first thing you need to know is how much money can I borrow? The age-old question, because you might have it in your mind, oh, well, I can afford a $400,000 home, and I don't want to show you those homes and find out, no, you need a $300,000 home. And the other thing I do, especially with my 55 plus people, because I'm a senior myself, that I love is getting them in the right place for now and down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
If you're 65, I promise you don't need a townhouse with all the bedrooms upstairs.
Yeah, it makes total sense. For sure.
And that's what I try to do. I try to listen to, do you want a gated community? Do you want amenities? No, you don't care about that. Some people they want golf courses and swimming pools and gyms and exercise people. Other people don't. They want a sew and circle in a nice, quiet neighborhood. And we have all that in Ocala.
Yes, that's good to have those choices, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So buying or selling a home can be stressful. Can you share how you help nervous or overwhelmed clients?
Well, I'm too. I actually was a little late for your podcast for this very reason. I have a lady who's moving from the north to here, but she was so nervous about sending her bank statement and her financial information. And I understand that. I really do. And so I, sent her to someone, and then she called me back, and it was like at 8 o'clock at night. I answer my phone till 10 p.m.
Oh my.
That's the truth. Because if you're calling me at 8 or 9 o'clock, you really want to know something right now. Well, long story short, when I got her on the phone, she said, I sent my information, and she said, and Bill was so nice. And I'm like, who's Bill? Oh, that's the gentleman. No.
Oh, no.
That's not our man. Well, fortunately, thank God, she sent it to the right company. She just didn't send it to the right agent. But if she hadn't told me that at 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock last night, this morning at 8 o'clock, I'm on the phone calling the mortgage company, your mortgage company, and we find out that she'd actually sent her information to a man in Ohio, which I'm sure he's wonderful, but we don't live in Ohio, so he can't do.
No. Oh, that's just frightening for sure.
Yes. So she was, and so that's the thing. I had another one a few years ago. Oh my goodness. When you wire money, I'm going to give you the name of the person to talk to. You don't talk to anybody else. You don't answer the phone to anybody else. I don't care if they say you're going to jail or they're locking down your bank account because they're from the Social Security company. Do not talk to them. We had in Ocala, the city of Ocala lost $10,000 to a scam.
Oh, no.
Florida, all of Florida, is the number one place for phone scams and that kind of thing. So that's why I don't work with 15 people at once. That's why I work with 2 at the most, because you're going to close in 30 days and then I'm going to go on to someone else. I'll always be available for you or your friend or your neighbor. But while we're working together, my focus is going to be on you.
Yes, you can never be too cautious. That's for sure. And
no, and if you get a crazy call me. I answer my phone. I won't say I'll call you back within 24 hours or 48 hours.
Yep.
Because I call other realtors too and go, what?
Yeah, we definitely do the same thing. I want people to call that, in the case of a title company, that one title agent when they get ready to do that wire and confirm these are the right instructions and talking to a human being and not just kind of, hoping that's the right thing. Or, it's just very frightening what these scams are out there. So that's a very good advice.
Right. I had an older gentleman, and what I was telling you is, he had went to make his wire. He got his instructions. He started the wire at the bank, went to his home, and he said, Miss Vicki, I just received a call from the Social Security company. I should, I owe them, I think it was like $8,000. I'm like, no, you don't owe them anything. Well, I gave them my Social Security number and the wire number. So I literally said, I'll call you back. I called the title company right away. I said, stop the wire. It's trying to be intercepted. And they stopped it. Thank goodness. And that man kept his money. There's thousands of stories of people losing $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on these scams.
Wow. That was so fortunate that gentleman let you know what was going on so you could step in and save the situation for him.
Now imagine if I hadn't answered the phone.
Doo-doo. Wow. That's a frightening thought.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So, Vicki, tell us about a time you helped a client overcome a major obstacle.
Well, I had a gentleman who was, this is funny. I had a gentleman who wanted to move here with his parents. His parents were retired. He was still working. He wanted to get a loan. He got approved for a loan, but he had to be employed in Florida.
Okay.
I literally, because I had contacts in the county, took the gentleman's resume around and said, hey, this guy's moving here. I'm taking someone else's resume to get them a job so they can get to Florida. And he did.
Well, that's definitely above and beyond what
Yes.
a real estate agent does. That's for sure.
It's like, well, how you can apply online, but everybody wants to see your resume. This way, I went to the people that I have contacts with and said, this gentleman's moving to Florida. Because of the people I've made relationships with, they were like, well, sure, we'll give him a look.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great story. I love that. So what keeps you inspired in this business day after day?
Because of my Catholic faith, and I believe that everybody should have a home. Whether you make a little bit of money, and if you look on our website, we have $197,000 homes. We have $1 million homes. We sell them all.
Absolutely. So, Vicki, what are some of the key resources or tools that you provide that really change the experience for your client?
The contacts I have with my mortgage brokers like you and Tom Daly, who's also part of your team. There's some, I work with other mortgage companies. I understand like the foreclosure system and how to work that. The VA system, if you're getting a VA loan, that's real tricky because a lot of people don't want to take a VA loan. And why is that? The VA loan, the reason people buck on that, and I think you'll agree with this, VAs in the past have appraised properties low. So if a property that was, $250,000, because Marion County is the fastest growing county in Florida, it was $250,000 2 years ago. Now it's $350,000. Well, if we get a VA appraiser come out here and say, oh, this house is worth $285,000, an appraiser sticks on the house for 6 months.
No.
And that can really, if you're trying to sell your house, that can hurt you. But if you're also a buyer, you've got to, you don't have the resources to get those people to understand that we're going to do everything we can. And one of the things I do, especially with VA, and I've had really nice luck with them. I wouldn't say it's luck, but because I know the appraiser, I'm willing, when your house gets appraised, I'm not going to sit here and go, your appraisal will be in sometime today. I'm going to get on my comprehensive website. I'm going to see what's listed now, which is your competition, what's pending now, which is what sold that's also was your competition, and what's sold. Because sometimes if you'll go ahead and put that report together and you shoot it off to the appraiser, it's not wrong, it's not illegal, but you're just helping them with data because yourself we're inundated. There's data everywhere. But if I can boil it down to in this neighborhood, this sold, I think that helps us a lot.
Yeah, that definitely does. And I think the appraisers actually appreciate it as well because it is a lot of work for them. And they maybe are coming from not in your direct market and coming to look at it far, and they are not as familiar with those neighborhoods and the way that the homes are laid out and the amenities and that sort of thing. So I think that actually helps them and do their job more efficiently. In addition to, like you say, supporting that real value, because these are real examples of very comparable homes that are being sold.
And it always makes me very proud when an appraiser calls me and says, hey, I'm in this neighborhood. What do you think? I mean, that's just like awesome to me.
Yeah, that is definitely, that just shows that they have so much respect for your knowledge and your, knowledge of that local marketplace for sure. So are there any tips or tools you recommend for buyers or sellers preparing for the market?
Make sure you have your down payment. Listen to your realtor. If you don't choose me or whoever you choose, take their advice on and steering's against the law. And I'm not saying that at all. That's not what I'm saying. But listen to our advice about neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because if you have small children, there's several family neighborhoods here in Marion County that's wonderful for children. Some have amenities, some don't. There's little things that, here's things I know. I might say that might not be the best house for you because I know that you can't see through those trees, but there's a railroad track back there. While it's beautiful right now, is it going to be beautiful at 3:00 in the morning when that train comes through? And the way Ocala is growing, for instance, over in Marion Oaks, just a fine example. Marion Oaks is a beautiful neighborhood, and they've sold so much. But you also have to realize that you're going to have it's clean industry. There's the warehousing, all behind them. Well, that wasn't there when you bought your home. But I let you know now in the future, Chewy's going to be here. The Dollar General, shipment station's going to be there. That's not steering, I'm not doing something wrong, but I'm letting you know because I know what's around you.
Yeah, that's super important for sure. So, Vicki, walk us through the experience of working with you from that first call to the handing over of the keys.
The first thing I'm going to do when you call me is I'm going to introduce myself. Hi, thank you for calling me. How did you hear about me? The second thing I'm going to ask you is this. Are you working with a realtor? Because NAR, the National Association of Realtors, changed the rules. Now you have to have either a showing agreement or a buyer's agreement. Mm-hmm. A buyer's agreement locks you in for a period of time. A showing agreement is I'm going to show you this house and this house and this house. If you buy this house and this house and this house, you owe me a commission. Okay? I don't ask you to sign buyer's agreements until I know that I'm a good fit for you and you're a good fit for me. Because I don't work with everybody. I shouldn't maybe say that, but I don't.
Well, everybody just has their natural people that
there's people, we're all different.
Just are better fits and maybe think along the same terms, or you're looking for the same kinds of things they're looking for, and you understand better what they're what's best.
And maybe what that person's looking for, I can't help them with. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So the second thing I'm going to do is ask you about who your work. If you talk to any other realtors, or you done any other realtors. The next thing I'm going to ask you is, have you spoken with a loan officer? Do you know what you're able to purchase? What kind of house are you looking for? Where are you? Do you have an area in mind? A lot of people come from the north and they don't know. And just to FYI, if you're coming from the north, I know that your brother or sister or cousin paid $200,000 less than you 5 years ago. Yes, they did.
Yes.
Life goes on.
So that turned out to be a pretty good investment, didn't it, for their relative, right?
Yes, it did. Because and people are shocked, honestly, because maybe if they did come here 3, 4, 5 years ago, you remember, John, when lots around here were $500. Now they're $50,000. They're not making any more land. So we're going to determine what you need. We're going to set a schedule based on you to look at houses, possibly based on you, because we live in Florida. The worst thing you want to do in Florida is look at a house at 3:00 in the afternoon when it's 95 degrees. That's not comfortable. And then I'm going to show you whatever you want to see. However, we're not going to look at 36 houses because that won't help you. And So many times I've let people like pick 5 houses or 10 houses because I'm listening in that house, and I'd like you to ride my car because I like to listen. What'd you like about that house? That bathroom was terrible. Oh, that was a really nice backyard. And then sometimes if we've looked at 5 or 10 houses and you're not happy, I say, okay, can I pick you up tomorrow and show you 3 houses I picked or 4 houses I picked? Many times they're like, people are like, how did you know what I wanted? Because you get so overwhelmed. It has to be 3 bedrooms. It has to be 1,800 square feet. It has to have a yard. But you're looking. And the other thing is, when you look on Zillow, that's a consumer website. I have, like you do, I have the back door. And yeah, the pictures are not worth 1,000 words. Pictures are pretty. Because you might go in that house and go, that's not what the picture showed. No, it isn't. And so when you give me that compilation of the, 10 houses you saw on Zillow, I'm going to go through those with you. And we might look at all 10, or we might say, that house you can't, because there again, some houses are only cash. Some houses are only cash or conventional. If you have an FHA loan, that might not be a house that works for you, but I know what will work with your scenario. Everybody's has a different scenario, and how we pick the houses is based on you.
Yeah. I think that may actually had a realtor partner that they showed someone 26 houses last weekend, and that you just can't keep track of that. Your mind is just muddled if you've looked at that many houses. It's just not productive for anybody and doesn't get you to that goal line of finding the home for you, because you're just so confused at the end of the touring.
Why would you look at 26 houses? I can't even think about that.
Yeah, it was one of those, a little bit like yours, where they're moving from the north and they wanted to look as many as they could in the few days that they were here, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. At the end of the day, they ended up not buying. So that tells you how productive that was. It was not productive.
And another thing, when you're coming from the north on the first day, let's not look at any houses. Mm-hmm. Let's go drive through the neighborhood. This is the west side. This is the south side. This is the east side. Because I don't know what you want. What's going to be your thing. But if I say this is this neighborhood, this like Adams Homes, for instance, I'm a licensed independent agent, but I sit in Adams models at their invitation. And I'm so grateful for that and very proud of the product they have. But for instance, Adams Homes has Ocala Crossings. They have Oak Hill Plantation. They have 1 acre lots. They have half acre lots. They have small lots. But going in and driving around the neighborhoods, you're going to get a feel for, yes, this is where I want to be, or no, I don't like this at all.
Yeah. I think that's great advice. You really do want to get a feel for that, how the traffic flows and the amenities that you have in particular neighborhoods. I think that's a great strategy. So if someone's on the fence about working with you or Blue Magnolia Real Estate, what would you tell them?
I would tell them first I would ask them, what is keeping you from wanting to work with me? What's the stop? And if I can fix that or alleviate that or explain something to you, I'm happy to do it. But there again, and I don't mean this to be rude in any way, everybody doesn't like everybody else. We learned that in kindergarten. You may go, no, I just want someone else, and that's fine.
Absolutely. I think that does make sense totally. So, Vicki, thank you so much for your time, your passion, and your wisdom with us today. For anyone looking to buy or sell in Marion County, especially first-time buyers, seniors, or veterans, you couldn't be in better hands. You can connect with Vicki at bluemagnoliarealestate.com or check out her social media links in the show notes. And if you're looking to get pre-approved or explore your mortgage options, visit dreamhomepodcast.com or reach out to me, John Nagle at CMG Home Loans, We're here to help you make your home ownership journey smooth and stress-free. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, share the show with your friends, and leave us a review. Thanks for tuning in to the Dream Home Podcast. We'll see you next time. Vicki, thank you so much. We really appreciate your joining us today, and it's been a pleasure.
John, thank you for what you guys do for my clients. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Dream Home Podcast, hosted by John Nagle. Ready to take the next step toward your dream home? Visit www.dreamhomepodcast.com for resources, tips, and expert advice. If you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, leave a review, and join us next time for more real estate insights and mortgage tips. Until then, happy home hunting.